Hello, my name is Charlie Hodgson and I'm a Chief Investigator at Private Investigators UK. Over the years I've worked on many weird and wonderful cases that many people have found to be very interesting and often funny. Although the names and dates and places have been changed to protect the innocent, the cases I'm going to talk about are all very real. The case I'm going to show you today is, I know my husband's having an affair, but how? Because I know where he is all the time. A very unhappy and confused lady called Cheryl gave us a call. She was absolutely adamant that her husband Roger was having an affair. She could see all the classic signs. He'd become distant, he was hiding his phone, he was wearing it like a second skin, and he'd bought himself new underwear that she hadn't seen. Yet the problem was, she knew where he was all the time. I said to her, how? Cheryl explained that they both ran a shop together. The shop was actually part of the house. Not only that, they had CCTV, which Cheryl could actually access remotely, so that when she wasn't in the shop, she could see exactly where Roger was. Their daily routine was very simple. They got up, they opened the shop up, they worked together, they closed the shop up. In the evenings they then went to the gym, which they happened to have as part of their house, apart from a Monday and Wednesday when Roger went rugby training. He had to do that because if he didn't train he couldn't play, and he was straight back afterwards. So she knew where he was all the time. I asked what was his routine at the weekend. Well, she said on a Saturday he tended to have a lie-in, then he'd get up and he'd go to rugby. Now she'd gone for 20 years with him to watch him play rugby, so she'd go with him. And the Saturday after the game, they did go out with friends or family. On a Sunday, both Cheryl and Roger would go to mini rugby with their two boys. Roger would coach, Cheryl would watch. Then they came back, had Sunday lunch, and Roger tended to snooze in front of the television on a Sunday afternoon. Cheryl was so confused and unhappy because she was convinced she could see he had an affair, but she was also equally as convinced he had no time to do it in. Over the years I find it's very common for people to have a very set idea of what's going on, but the job of a private investigator is to actually prove the facts. So if someone is having an affair, there's always unaccounted for time. The fact the only time Cheryl could not physically see Roger was when he went rugby training. This is where we must start our investigation. It took me nearly 20 minutes to convince Cheryl to do the surveillance. She kept arguing she knew he was going rugby training, but my argument was very simple. It's the only time you do not see exactly what he's doing. So the next Monday we followed Roger down to training. Along the journey to the rugby club we were half expecting him to turn off and go somewhere else. But no, Roger actually did go to training. He got out of the car, he got changed and started actually training. Maybe Roger wasn't having an affair. Suddenly, 40 minutes into the 2-hour training session, Roger stopped. He waved to the other guys, got in the car and drove off. We left one operative at the rugby club to make some inquiries, while the other followed Roger. Within 5 minutes the operative at the rugby club radioed through to explain Roger's routine. Roger told the club he had a bad back, he had sciatica, which meant he could only train for a maximum of 40 minutes. Before then he needed some physio. The club agreed that the 40 minutes was enough training to allow Roger to play at the weekend. At Private Investigators UK, we found over the years that the best cover stories for an affair have elements of truth to them. And Roger's was perfect. His dirty kit would look and smell as it normally does, and if anyone asked, he'd definitely been to training. The operative following Roger now knew something was going to happen. Just at that moment, Roger turns off the main road, takes the second left, drives on another 100 yards and stops. The operative following Roger now knew exactly what Roger was up to. He'd been working in the local area as a surveillance officer for over 15 years, and this was a notorious massage parlour. He now knew the reason why Roger was hiding his mobile phone. To get into the parlour you need to have pre-booked via mobile, and you're sent a code to get through the door. Sure enough, Roger walks up to the door, enters a PIN and goes inside, carrying his kit bag with him. An hour later, Roger left the massage parlour, all showered and changed, and drove home. In the meantime, the second surveillance operative left the rugby club as people started to leave after having a shower. He drove back to Cheryl and Roger's house and arrived back almost exactly the same time as Roger and the first surveillance operative. This shows that Roger's alibi was perfectly planned, as he was arriving back at exactly the same time as he was from the massage parlour as he would have been from training. So Cheryl was right all along. She could see the signs of a cheating partner. But she confused herself by assuming she knew exactly where Roger was all the time. What this case shows is never assume you know where someone is, no matter how long they've been doing the same routine. Collect the facts, either by you physically seeing it with your own eyes, or are presented the photographic evidence from an expert such as a private investigator.